Happy holidays, everybody. You are listening to Service from Hell, and this is our best of 2021 episode. It is now the end of 2021, and this is a cut-up of all of the most favorite moments from this past year with all of our lovely guests. And either we got emails about these moments, or you told me them directly, or I laughed really hard listening back to them. And they're snippets from all of our lovely guests from 2021. And we're just so grateful that you all have been on this ride with us. This is year 2 for this podcast, which is crazy to think about. And we're just so grateful for all of the support and the listener letters and just all of the time that you all have taken. We're so grateful to our Patreon subscribers. All of you patrons make it worth it. It reminds me that I'm not just throwing wet paper towels against a wall and hoping something sticks. And we just are so grateful for your hard-earned money that you're throwing my way to this podcast, because whilst this is a labor of love, it does cost money. So I am so grateful for those of you that have signed up there. And it's there's information in the show notes if you would also like to become a patron. Lots of bonus content there, and we're just so grateful for all of the support. And thank you to my family and friends who have given me a ton of energy and kept me going during this time. This year was crazy. I started in Ohio in my mom's basement and then just moved all over the country and have been all over the place. And I'm super grateful, but it has been chaos. And because of all of the support, I've been able to keep this going. And to all of our new listeners, thank you so much. To all of our longtime fans and loyalists, extra thank you to you. To all of our international listeners, what a pleasure to see more countries discovering this little engine that could. It is so exciting to see that. So please do keep telling your friends. Please keep listening. And if you haven't listened to all of the 2021 episodes yet, hopefully you have some time over the holiday break, because we'll be taking a few weeks off and hanging out with our peeps. So you can always go back and either re-listen to an episode or discover new people. And hopefully this best of episode will give you a taste of some of the, super fun interviews that have happened this past year. We are in it together, y'all. And, hopefully everybody is staying healthy, happy, sane, taking care of your personal health, mental health, familial stuff. Just hopefully everybody's taking care of themselves. We are so grateful to have you all as listeners. Hopefully you all enjoy this cut-up holiday experience and that you're having fun with all of your families. Have a great 2022, and we will see you on the other side. I'd like to welcome our guest, Ian McCara. Jesus Christ, Ian.
I was like, should I stop her?
Yes. I'm so out of my mind. Okay, let's get back. We're going, but for 8 consecutive hours, Ethan will be on a monthly Zoom call talking. Oh, Jesus fucking. This is my first time doing this, Ethan.
Take your time.
Thank you.
At 19, I'm still working at Woods Movie Theater. I'm going to community college. This is before I go to U of D.
What up,
I'm
Juco?
at community college. I'm at the Woods. This woman comes in every Monday with her boyfriend. She's gorgeous. She's blonde. She's kind of like a little bit of a bigger gal, which I'm like, yeah, girl. She has her cute boyfriend. She comes in every Monday and just like big, beautiful hair, jewelry, nails. She just was like a cool looking lady. I was like, that lady is awesome. So I started noticing her on Mondays. And so she'd go like, how you doing? And I'd go, good, nice to see you again. It was a small movie theater. It was not busy. So you kind of, if you had regulars, you'd recognize them. So she comes in one Monday. Everyone's on break. So I'm basically running the show. Monday is the most dead night. So you might have 30 people total in any of the total amount of people watching movies. I sell her the ticket. I run out of the booth. I tear the ticket. Then I run behind the concession stand and I make her popcorn. When she leaves, I'm putting up the marquee with the big arm. And she goes, honey, you work too hard. I'm going to give you a job. She goes, have you ever heard of City Club? I said, no. And this is like, not to date my age, but I don't have a cell phone or Google at my, disposal. She goes, listen, come down to First and Bagley on Friday night. I'm going to give you a job in my club. And I go, okay, great. So
and you're 17 at this time, correct?
No, I'm 19.
You're 19 now. Okay, now we're 19.
I'm 19.
Okay.
So I'm like, this is crazy, but let's try it. So all week long, I'm asking people, have you ever heard of City Club? Have you ever heard of City Club? And none of my friends know anything about it. So I show up at the hotel. It's in the Leland Hotel, which also has 100 rooms at a Ramada, downtown Detroit. I go to the front desk. I'm wearing like a beautiful black cat suit with like a gray blazer, and I've got like stockings on and black flats. And I like, because she says coat check. I'm like, I don't know. So I go to the front desk. I'm like, hi, I'm here for Sybil, and he's like, go right into her office. So he points me into her office. I go in. There she is. Gorgeous hair, nails, everything. She's wearing like a black blazer. But sitting across from her is this like woman that's like larger than life, covered in tattoos, big Doc Marten boots, fishnet stockings, bra, no shirt, shorts. I'm like, what is this outfit? And so she's like, she's going to take you in, hon, set you up in the coat check. So we go through the hotel, and like, it's a, hotel, whatever. They open this side door, and it's like walking into hell. There's like all these weird paintings on the wall, and like anorexic elephant skeleton, baby arms coming out of the wall, mannequin heads. Everything looks so scary. It's really smoky. She's like, okay, you're going to be over here. I get in the coat check. It's terrifying. Kate, I think I'm going to be murdered. I have no cell phone. Cell phones don't exist. I'm like, who knows I'm here?
Ooh.
What's going to happen to me? Am I going to get shot up with heroin? I mean, I was like afraid because everyone came in. It's a gothic industrial nightclub with people who have like spikes embedded in their head and a mohawk and wearing rubber suits. And like, there's like 10 security guards, which I think is good. And I'm like, this is the scariest place I've ever been. It was like, I can't really describe it. It's like the club in, Pretty in Pink that Ducky goes to, but then like 100 times scarier. Like, it's nuts, it's punks and it's wild. So I'm sitting there in the coat check, and I'm like, just going to have to tell her, thank you. This is not my cup of tea. I'm not really into this. And so and the club closes at 4:30 in the morning.
Girl, no.
The bar stops at 2 a.m., but the club itself closes at 4:30.
No.
So at 4:40, she comes walking up to the coat check, and she says, what do you think? And I'm counting out a stack of money. I go, see you tomorrow. And I worked there for 5 years.
Holy shit.
These pre-existing conditions are what drives kidney disease. People who do not take very good care of themselves and have these conditions get these conditions. So it is a disease of the disenfranchised. And in our city, the zip codes that had all of the darkness to them were the Black communities, North City and North County. And it was almost, the West County, it was nearly white. It went from cream to white. And in North City and North County, it's like Delmar is our street that divides Black from white in St. Louis. A whole different conversation is institutional wealth and housing and redlining and all that and protected covenants. And I'm not going to get into that today, but for those reasons, there's a street in every city, at least in the Midwest, that divides Black from white. And this is the street, and everything north of Delmar is progressively hotter for chronic kidney disease. I was looking at a map of where the most disenfranchised people were, who also happened to have all the chronic kidney disease. Well, my areas of the city were the ones that got hit hardest at first. Now, the people who get hit hardest are the ones who have don't have a mask policy. The second go around, the masks do work. They're not perfect, but they do work. And if you mandate mask use inside, people don't get as infected. But the first go around, the people who got hit hardest were the Black people in our communities that I work. And they're the ones with these pre-existing conditions, it's everyone else has observed that law enforcement, although policemen themselves are not racist, law enforcement incentivizes enforcement in areas that are disproportionately Black, and that's what people tend to see. But I've seen it much more closer with this health condition that has come up this year. So I got off the tangent on a tangent here a little bit. You were talking about Donald Trump, and so getting back to that question, maybe he was able to jump the line. I'm sure he did.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the restaurant, it was just such a toxic environment.
Why was it toxic?
And I think it's mostly the way that they do their business. I mean, it leads to a lot of mistrust between people working at the restaurant. They give managers, and especially like general managers, a typical budget of how to run their specific franchise or location, and that makes it difficult. Like, we had a manager that decided not to buy the amount of utensils we needed because she wanted to save that money to roll over into her winter bonus.
Wow.
And that was totally fine by the company, because once it's out of their hands, it's totally up to the people that work at that location to make their decisions off of the money that they hand them. I mean, even as servers that were there, I don't know how common this is at other locations, but this is the only place where I had to carry my own bank. Have you heard of that?
At the Comedy Store, I had to carry my own bank, but not. I mean, the most it was $200. It wasn't. I mean, how much was your bank?
No, I would end up at the end of my shift carrying on my person probably easily upwards of $1,500 in cash.
That is so fucking dangerous. That is so fucking dangerous.
I was not allowed, at least at my location, to store it in the safe.
Levi.
My shift. I had to keep it on my body. And one time, I will tell you this, how little of a shit I gave when it came to that. I'm not a good server. I'm going to put that up first.
That's honest.
I am not a good server. I got promoted very quickly at all the customer service jobs I had because I'm charismatic and I'm a good talker.
You're a good leader too.
What I want. So yeah, so I can sort of trick people into thinking I'm a lot better than I am, which I did.
Tell it on yourself. Okay.
But at that job, I remember we had a shooter scare one time at the Americana. There was someone that came in with, I guess, a group of people that came in with like baseball bats and stuff and robbed the Nordstrom's jewelry department, which was right next door to the restaurant, right? And people heard gunshots because the cop there shot at the floor to scare them off, right?
Wow.
Like, watch out, I'm packing. And the entire mall, the outdoor mall of the Americana, everything around there had to evacuate because at that point people just heard gunshots. They didn't know, who shot or what's going on or anything. So here I am with, like I said, $1,200 to $1,500 worth of money that is not mine.
That you're responsible for.
Bye, bitches. I'm walking home. So I left the restaurant right then and there and just walked my ass home.
There's nobody here, bro.
Please stop. Who's this for?
It's just me and Adam. Like, we don't care.
And now we're uncomfortable.
We're the fucking cowboy hat. You're like a crazy person.
Unless you do testing, which is what we do as an organization, like these investigations where we send out people who pretend like they want to live somewhere. But you can assume, just imagine, like you're looking at you found 4 places. You can cross 2 of them off your list because of how you'll be treated. Like it's unbelievable. So to answer your question about pervasive, like it is super pervasive. It is, unfortunately.
I want to go a little deeper. So if you're comfortable telling the story, I don't know if you're able to identify who the person was, but you told me a story on the phone of sending someone into like you had a building that had been accused of discrimination, and a genuine person that really did want to rent, who raised this to your attention, had stated, I believe that I'm being discriminated against because when I called, they said that there were apartments available. When I arrived, there weren't. And it sort of seems, like someone would script this in a movie. And I don't think that people actually understand that this is happening today. And so if you could you paint that story of, you don't have to say who, if that is something to protect with your organization, but the person that you then sent, who is a Caucasian female, got a different answer. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah. So as the way that we do our investigations, and it's not unique to us, this is industry wide, we send out, essentially, so people can wrap their head around it, like we send out like secret shoppers, people who pretend like they want to live somewhere, and we see, and they'll be of different demographics. Some of them will be white people, some will be women, some will say they have kids, whatever it is we're looking for. And we send to these people with the same rental history. I mean, depending on what it is we're looking for, but we'll send people with the same rental history, the same debt to income ratio, the same income, maybe even the same job, same credit score. It depends on what we're looking for and how we're doing it. But just to paint the picture, we'll send people and we tell them what to say so that the only difference between them is that one thing that we are investigating. So we send people who are of the same race.
Sorry, Rob, let me just stop you. So
Sure.
what is that one, when you say to investigate that one thing?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so every investigation we do, thank you for breaking it down for clarity. Yeah, the investigations will be centered on race. The one thing may be race. The one thing may be gender. The one thing may be whether or not you have children. These things, these illegal criteria for treating somebody different, they are called protected classes. So there are a bunch of protected classes. At the federal level, there are 7. Race, color, national origin, religion, having children, your mental or physical challenge, and race, color, national origin, religion, gender, mental or physical challenge. I don't know. Is that all? No, that's stuff. Anyway, whatever. Those are the 7. Yeah, race, color, national origin, religion, gender, mental or physical challenge, and having children. Yeah, those are the 7 at the federal level. So we will investigate along those lines. Well, sorry. So those are the federal ones. They cover you anywhere you are in the country. But then different localities, states, cities, counties, have made more. You might have heard that, that sounds like a pretty limited list. Those are just the federal ones. At a more local level, you may also be protected because of your sexual orientation, your age, your marital status. There's a number of things. So we will investigate and we'll say, okay, we want to see, are women being kept out here? So in a test, the one thing in that test would be gender. So we'll send people of similar demographics, but the one thing different among the people we send is that we are sending half women and half men because we want to see, what's happening. Is there something happening to all the women and something happening to all the men? In a different case, we might be testing for race. The one thing might be race. So we'll send people with different demographics, but we want to make sure we're sending half Hispanic, half Asian, or maybe it's whether or not you have kids. So the people are a variety of people, but we want to make sure we're sending half with kids and half without, so that we can show a pattern. Because when we bring our cases and we think discrimination is happening, the party being accused of discrimination almost invariably says, it didn't happen, or, it was a misunderstanding, you misconstrued what I was saying to you. So then we have to establish a pattern of, okay, you're saying it was a misunderstanding, fine, but that misunderstanding, quote unquote, is only happening when it's a woman, or it's only happening when it's a gay person. Then there's this misunderstanding. So we can establish that pattern, like whatever you want to call it.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever been asked to do whilst you were on the clock?
I mean, probably replace a beer for someone who'd seen their beer go into a woman's vagina.
Oh, okay. That's a great transition. Should we find out and talk about what Kittens was? Because I bet everybody figured it out. If not based on the name, based on What's so fucked up is that could totally be true. What was God. Kittens, Bella?
Kittens was a strip club.
What?
Were
you a dancer?
Oh, lol. No, I wish. My family still don't know I worked there. I remember that I told them that I was working at this pub down the road, and my brother and my dad were always like, well, come in for a drink. And I was like, no. It's really busy. I'll be distracted. Thank God I only did like 3 or 4 shifts because I couldn't have kept that lie up for much longer. I ended up working at Kittens because a girlfriend of mine was managing the bar there. 2 girlfriends of mine were working behind the bar, and I got back from this trip and I had $0 in my bank account. I got back from Fiji with no money, and it was like a Friday, and they're like, you can start tomorrow. You'll walk away with $100 cash in hand at minimum because that's just to cover your shift. And I was like, okay, great. I could get $100 tomorrow. And they're like, yep.
So that would be over and above tips. They were just giving you $100 Australian, 100 Aussie dollars, or were they saying you will make that in tips?
No, that was like my
wages for the hours.
Wages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And it was a different day because I remember I went in, they wanted to start me on a slow day. So they brought me in on a Wednesday night. And Wednesday they did show nights.
Oh, God above. What is a show night?
It was, I just remember walking in and there were it was a guy on stage with two girls and they just seemed to be doing things with props. Putting props in like imaginative places. And I was like, what, 19? Maybe I was 20. And I looked about 14. And it just, I mean, I thought I was so like worldly and wise, and I walked in there and I was like, nope.
Wait, how'd you find out about the job even to begin with? Like, how'd you know they were hiring?
Because my two mates were working there. I had two girlfriends who were working behind the bar, and basically one of them was just like, dude, you start tomorrow. Like, we can always use people behind the bar. I don't know how she found out about it. I think she knew someone who was working there, and the thing was her and her friend, I'm just going to bloody say their first names. I don't know why I'm trying to be so anonymous.
It's okay.
Jacinda and Elise. So Jacinda and Elise were friends of mine. They were working at the bar. One of them was managing the bar. And they would just walk away with poo loads of money. Just every night. They would walk away like, Elise would bank like $500 a night easily.
Get out.
Yeah, all cash.
Sure.
And so they'd work there a few nights a week. I mean,
make rent and call it.
Yeah, easy.
Wow.
And they seemed to handle it so well. Like they would just kind of like banter with the customers and I don't know, like flirt a bit and just get all this money. And I just seemed to find myself arguing with people and never getting any tips and finding everything just really offensive. There was one guy that we called the Silver Fox because he would come a couple of nights a week. He would always sit by himself. He was really respectful. Like he just seemed like a lovely, lonely guy. Probably lived around the corner. I don't know, but we had some story about him. But he was lovely. And he gave me, I think one night he gave me a $50 tip because I think he just took pity on me. And I think that was like the only tip I ever made in the whole 3 or 4 shifts I worked there.
Gap in that neighborhood specifically was the entitlement I kept seeing. That was really like, who are these people? Like this is terrible. I already had a chip on my shoulder for that just growing up in my life, you know, we grew up in sort of in a lower middle class area in El Paso, and then the whole thing with moving to Arizona and having to like that's all. And that's still now, there's still a little bit of that in me where I'm like, I just don't trust the entitled or necessarily like the entitled, or you know, if I know you're rich or you came from like a rich background, I already question it, which is not fair, but that's just, you know, where I'm at. And so yeah, the entitlement really got to me big time.
What would be a way that you would handle if someone came in of the sort of upper echelon caliber and they were condescending to you? Did you have a little game you would do that they would be unaware of? He's smiling and covering his face.
Yeah.
What was that?
I'm sorry, Julie. So
we love you, Julie. This is so unfair.
So we used to have these, if those of you who remember the Gaps in the 90s and 2000s, every employee had like a headset. Like we had a headset that had a little button on the wire.
Oh my God.
Because that's what, like, if they didn't have a size, you have to press the button and be like, hey, Tom, is the, you know, boot cut low rise size 4? Do we have it downstairs?
Size 4, fuck her.
So, so already, right?
Yep, I'm already mad.
Yep. So if I saw someone come in with their entitlement flag flowing,
waving,
I need these in a 4, you know, whatever.
Ew.
I would be like, sure, 1 second. I would pretend to press the button. And I went into a whole Bob Newhart routine of talking to someone who wasn't there. and be like, hey, Tom, pause, 2, 3, 4. Hey, yeah, it's Ithamar. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Hey, so we're looking for the low-rise boot cut, size 4. Pause, 4. Look at her. He's checking. And then... literally, I have not pressed a button.
Not once.
Tom is probably not even working that day.
Tom's off.
Tom is off the clock. No one's down there, by the way.
No one. Empty warehouse.
There's probably 7 size 4s that I can very well go down there and get myself.
Yourself.
And then
you're on the walkie.
And then just waiting the right time, and then finally, oh,
dang it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Tom. I'm so sorry. We don't have any. Can you check other stores? And then I'd have to probably go to the phone and do. And the phone you couldn't fake. Like
no,
I couldn't fake the phone.
Like you couldn't go beep boop beep beep beep.
Yeah.
She saw you dialing.
Yeah. She's like, you're dialing the red button 7 times. There's nothing there.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So yeah, that was my little ways of like
I'm crying.
getting back at them, because then they'd have to leave the store.
I guess because, I mean, we'll get there, but was there ever a time when you were waiting tables where you're like, if one more motherfucker
Side of ranch. If I ever have to get a side of ranch for another human being again in my life, it'll be too soon. I never.
Why?
Ever. First of all, ranch is delicious.
Facts.
And it deserves its own vocal
Ramekin
tone. Like, ranch. It is freaking delicious. And granted,
that
I
shit.
want it on everything. I
Same.
definitely want it on a side of fries. I definitely don't you freaking bring me honey mustard ever again in my life. Freaking onion rings, ranch, please. Yes, barbecue for a little like whatever. Ranch. Definitely requires its own jingle. Ranch should have its own jingle. Like you now have the phrase for Mother Earth. Like
Ranch needs its own.
Actually, ranch is like, are you serious? Have you eaten us? We don't need shit. We could never
Our
advertise
PR is
again.
And everyone will still eat us.
All of us are swimming in money. But yes, another side of ranch, and I was going to lose my freaking mind.
Why?
There's always a thing, and nothing came with ranch at the Hard Rock. Like there was like nothing. I don't think there wasn't a dish that came with ranch automatically. So you always had to ask for ranch, or the customer was like, "Can I get a side of ranch?" But I just started to put it in.
I would have too.
I would be like, "Hey guys, welcome to Hard Rock Cafe. My name's Natalie. Who loves ranch? Who's gonna want a side of ranch?" You know, like,
who's wet at this table for some ranch?
Right.
Put your hands up higher.
Let's see it. I'll get a section, four tables in a section. Who loves some ranch?
Touch the sky. Touch the sky.
Somebody. Get some high fives some for ranch.
Great. You get some. You know what?
You get ranch.
Bring
everybody just a tub of ranch.
Bring you. Fucking
Water bottles of ranch.
Oh God, that makes me want to throw up.
Oh God, the ladle.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
That's tough.
On my watch, I had the night shift, and I spent 4 of the night shifts reading Lord of the Rings, because the following winter the first film was coming out, and I wanted to get ahead of it, because I'd never read them before. Because the book's always better than the movie, and I was a nerd.
Yeah.
So I was reading Lord of the Rings, and on my watch, I went into one of the tents and just all night read this book, and I came out, and the supervisor was like, "Hey, have you been doing the route? Like, have you been walking around?" Like, yes, obviously. And he's like, "Oh, cool, let's like 6 a.m. now." He's like, "Yeah, let's do one." And he's walking, we're just talking about life and things. We turn on a corner, and one of the tents is burnt down.
Oh my God.
Like to a crisp, like burnt down. And he just looks at me like, "So, what's that?" And I just thought to myself, this man didn't come into the tent going, "Oh my God, what have you been doing? A tent's been burned down." He came in
to shame you.
Absolutely played me, marinated me, made me walk half my route, turn a corner, and then gone, "What's this? Huh? What's happening here? What's this now?" And I was like, yeah, it was like the St. John's Ambulance, like the first aid tent. Someone had burnt it down.
Oh my God.
I later found out who did it. I mean, I got obviously immediately fired.
Sure.
But I later found out it was my regular night shift partner who was off that night had done it.
Why?
Because he was really annoyed at the people organizing it and stuff. I mean, that's the sort of place I come from, because he was really annoyed at the people who were running the festival. And he didn't realize I'd get sacked, so he's a bit sorry about that. But yeah, that's what happened.
Wow. I mean, God bless that supervisor who's like, "Oh, this is gonna be a long experience of punishment." Like,
what's this?
cannot.
What's this now?
What do you think this is?
Like, what's going on?
I would have just been like, "This was standing an hour ago. What? That was so fast." Like,
wasn't it always like this? Was it?
Isn't it meant to be an example for people? Okay.
Oh my God.
Students that I had to say, "I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think this is a fit for you, and we don't want you to just keep wasting your money here. If it's not a fit for you, what other options do we have?" So I've had to go through that once or twice. And then one time I had to kick a student out of the program. So not out of a class, but out of the entire school program, because he was a scary guy. And he came in with his girlfriend. He was a little weedy guy, so thin and a lot of tattoos, and not that should, but neck tattoos, and kind of a rough guy. But the bigger real point was that everything he did in a scene was misogynistic and abusive. And you just kept giving him the notes like, this is not funny. You can't do this. People are visibly uncomfortable with this. And he just couldn't make that change. And he would nod and go, oh, yeah, right. Sorry, man. My bad. You're right. My bad. And then do the exact same shit in the next scene. And that guy was just at a place in his journey where he couldn't take that note and couldn't make that change. So I had to, I kicked him out of the whole program, but he was very cool. I was so nervous about it, Kate.
Oh my
I didn't
God.
want to. A, you don't want to be the person who kicks somebody out. B, he was a scary guy. I didn't want to be the guy you have to kick him out. But when I said it, he said, "I get that all the time, bro. I feel you. I get it. Blah blah blah." And it was very understanding, and I felt like, okay, this guy knows how he is perceived in great part because of the shit that comes out of his own mouth. It turned out to be totally fine, but I had to move him on.
Yeah, that was like you're describing my worst nightmare, especially because I have the people pleaser thing too. And like, I don't want to, like, especially when it's people's, because it's not just like you're telling them that they need to rewrite an English paper. You're potentially saying to them, like, this career may not be your jam. Of course, that's not how you position it. And that might not be true. You might just not be great at improv and you can be a great actor in a different way. But, it was
tough. It was just more at the content. I mean, and the idea that of giving you the note 5 times. You can't just punch stage combat, punch every partner in every scene, every single time you're on the stage. It cannot be just physical violence every time. And a lot of it accompanied with just misogynistic bullshit and just, So anyway, I was really afraid to have that conversation, but the guy turned out to be totally cool. It's like, yep, I get that all the time, man.
This is me, bro. It's like, okay.
That's it. It's like, great. See you around.
We just had to get paid what we got paid.
And you should have gotten stunned. I mean, you should have. That's insane that they didn't. And I would have been real pissed when I saw 3 seconds of myself getting.
I didn't even see myself. That's how fast it went.
Carl. I would have been so mad.
We were going at it all day, like real hard baseball conditioning all day.
What's the other?
They had like a real coach out there telling us like what to do to get these real shots. And I was like, we are actors.
Please be kind to us.
Yeah.
What's the other one? You had 2 stories. What's the other one?
Oh, the other one was drunk people at Barney's, kicking people out. I don't even know if I can talk about this.
You sure can.
I think I will, because I think it's closed now. And it wasn't like a real case or anything.
Oh.
But one night a cop came in and got too drunk and I had to remove him from the bar.
Ooh.
Didn't know he was a cop until later. And that was a whole ordeal. And yeah.
Did he come after you? Are you allowed to? No.
Kind of in a way, but he was like so drunk. It wasn't, but he was like, he was so drunk. And he started like choking this woman in the bar. And then I was like, all right, you're done. And like tossed him. And everybody's like, that was a cop. And I'm like, oh shit, I am dead.
Literally, I am actually dead.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And but that we had to go to court and stuff for all that because he was trying to get his job back and stuff like that.
He got fired?
He did get fired. He got fired.
Well, he shouldn't have put his hands on a woman in public.
She was a cop too. She was his partner, and I think they were having an affair, an illicit affair.
Oh, Carl, why are you leaving out all these details?
Because I'm trying to not go. I'm not trying to get sued.
You're trying to not get killed too. Okay, we'll just move past it. Okay, that's pretty weird. There? Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Did you want to add anything?
No, and other than that, just like stopping the people from having sex in the bathroom.
Oh, that happens a lot. How much cocaine did you see at Barney's?
A lot. A lot of cocaine being done in the bathroom, stopping people from having sex. You see a couple walk in and be like, all right. Hey, nope. Gotta come out of here. Yeah.
Nope, not the place to fuck. But also hearing the and then being like, hey, can't do that here. What are you talking about? I have a cold.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that cold is becoming a powder under your nose.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's
must be freezing out here
in these LA streets? Yeah. What is an incident that made them ask to speak to your manager, or you're too personable? I imagine you haven't had any.
I'll give you one.
Oh, you have one.
It wasn't my fault though.
That doesn't
A group
surprise
of dudes, and this would happen a lot. I'll tell you another detail about this off the air. But
okay, I'll write a note down.
Yeah, write it in the notes. Okay. But you know how all service workers, and I'm saying this as a black person who over tips because I know how service workers think about black people sometimes.
But
yeah, exactly. Y'all call them Canadians or whatever, but
that is so offensive. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, it's offensive as hell. But
and they do.
This group of dudes came in and they ordered a ton of food.
This was at Barney's.
This is at Barney's. They ordered a ton of food, wings, chicken tenders, fries, chili, everything that Barney's got to offer. And I loaded up their table, got them all their ranch and sour cream and ketchup and everything they wanted. Got their drinks, everything. Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. You're dope, bro. What's your name? Carl? Thanks, Carl. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Blah, 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 blah.
At what point did they walk out on the bill?
They didn't walk out on the bill. They didn't need to walk out because they got the bill for free because they called me back and go, hey, bro, question. Do these wings got garlic? And I was like, like maybe like they're hot wings. Like I'm sure there's probably garlic. Oh yeah, because the ingredients is not on the menu. And my homie here is allergic to garlic. And I'm like, what? Like they're hot wings. Like hot wing seasoning has garlic. Like, oh bro, like it's not your fault, bro. It's not your fault. But like, could you get the manager?
Had they eaten all of it at that point?
They had eaten everything. They had eaten everything. And they left me a $4 tip. They were like, we're going to take care of you, bro. We're going to take care of you. They left me a $4 tip. And I was like, I thought y'all going to take care of me. I mean, I don't care that y'all didn't eat the meal, but I thought y'all was going to take care of me like you said you was. They got the whole bill comped. And they had ordered like $180 something.
And left you
drinks.
$4. Even a 10% tip would have been $18. Like,
yeah, at least leave me a 20, bro. Y'all didn't have to pay for anything.
Nothing, zero.
At least leave me a 20.
You had $200 essentially taken care of. That is bonkers. And could you I have said this before on the podcast. It's usually the people who are like, oh, I work in the industry. I got you. Or I used to, not if they currently do, but, oh, I used to work in the industry. I got you. The people who overly emphatically continue to say, I got you, don't got you. Ever.
They don't got you.
Ever.
They don't got you. It's not your fault, bro. It's not your fault. Like, I'm like, yeah, I know it's not my fault. Like, you don't put that. Nobody puts the ingredients to buffalo sauce on a menu.
Nobody.
And they knew that. They knew that.
That was the angle.
Yeah, and then he just kept getting mouthy, and he was like, "Oh fuck!" And then he's like, and I was like, man, "There's no need for that attitude. You don't need to speak to her like that. You know, it's the ticket girl." And then he's like, "Fuck you! What are you, just a fucking security guard?" I was like, "I'll clock out right now and not be one if you want to keep fucking talking like this."
Good for you.
And without batting an eye, but you know, like if you're, that's not the direction usually we want to go, but you get a lot of people like that, and I'm the type that's like, I'm not going to sit there and eat it. Like some people need to be taught a lesson, and there's been many times where, you know, sometimes when you bark back like that, it does actually make them realize they're being an asshole, and there's no need to go to the next level. Sometimes it does go to the next level, but you'd be surprised how many times, like, if you just come back with like confidence and fiercely, people will understand, like, okay, like I was displacing my emotions right there. I was out of place, out of pocket. I apologize.
And she's like, "Where is your manager?" I said, "We don't have a manager here today. Don't let the door hit you. See ya." And she's like, "What?" All of a sudden, Chris Sandwich guy comes out. And he taps her on the shoulder and he goes, "How's it going? What's going on?" And the woman is like, "This woman is being rude to me." And I said, "The color copier isn't working." And he goes, why don't you take a break, Jackie? I'll take care of her." And I said, "You don't need to take care of her. She's leaving." And he goes, "I get that. Why don't you hit the break room and I'll be right, and we'll deal with it." And I was like, "Okay." And I back up. He stands in front of me. So I don't leave. I'm standing right behind him. She can see me. He can't see me. He's talking to her. She starts essentially lying. I'm not necessarily the hero of what just happened, but she's saying that I was rude from the beginning. I am the golden retriever of customer service, man. I am like, "Hi, welcome to the fucking thing." And so
said just like that.
Just like that. And so she is like saying that she was like, she doesn't know how to use the equipment. Can you try all these things? And he's like, ma'am, the color copier isn't working. And so she just starts on and on and on. And finally, I've had it. And I just look at her and I mouth the words, but I do not say them. Crybaby. And I make a tear motion down my cheek. And she bursts into tears and says, I am not a crybaby, and storms out. Now, the next time I'm working is Tuesday. Now, this is 1990. I was born in 1965, so 75, 85. I'm 25 years old. My boss is 23 years old. And so on Tuesday, I go into work, and she's like, hey, Jackie, let's go get a croissant.
A croissant sandwich.
But so we go, and she buys me a cup of coffee. And she's like, you have got to tag out. You have to just tag team. I know she was wrong. You didn't handle it great. And I was like, fair enough. Do you want me to quit? And she's like, no, we need you. And so I lasted a little bit longer. And then I got the job at Northern Sun Merchandising.
I'm going to say it.
Nobody's taking a hit on a $5 cup of soup.
That's right. Okay, so remember, folks.
If you can't afford a tip, walk out of your check.
The new
It'll
drop.
get comped.
This is the new drop for this whole. Thank you, folks, so much for listening. Happy holidays. Take care of you and your loved ones. We'll see you in 2022.